about the message queues. So there are some very popular message queue. The first one is called the Amazon SOS. That is the service offered by the Amazon. And the second is very popular one is called Kafka. And the third one is called the RabbitMQ. So why we need this? So let's talk about the motivating example. So for here, right? So clients want to upload image, and then it will go to the server, and it want to recite this. It will take 2 seconds, and filter it also take 2 seconds, and the content moderation also will take 2 seconds, and then it will respond something, right? It's 6 seconds later. So that is the, but we don't want to so much latency. Okay. Why this one duplicate? Okay, so I think this one duplicate, so let me delete it. Okay. And then, it's not good, right? So that is why we want. And especially when there are so many clients want to call that API, upload the image, and doing some the resign filter or something, it will be encounter some problem. That's why we need the message queue. So how is message queue doing here? So you can see the lightweight API service, right? Message queue, it will have so many this is kind of like tasks and assigned to worker and worker 2, worker 3, and to do the operations, and it will respond immediately, right? So it's kind of like a synchronized to process the API calling. So what is the message queue? So normally in the message queue we have which is called producer and consumer. So you can see the producer, right, send and something here to the message queue, and then there are some consumers, a lot of consumers, where based on some configurations, based on some something, then it will get the message queue and to consume it. It will kind of like treat it like a company, right? This producer, there are lots of like a manager, boss, and they were sending different tasks. And this is kind of like a message queue, is kind of like a worker task collections, and the consumers are the workers like us. Not us, maybe you are boss, like me, and pick up some of the tasks and to work on that. So this is kind of like a message queue here, the high level idea about this one. So you can see producer, right, message queue, and consume and do the work, and send the acknowledgement to say that, oh, currently now I got the task, I'm working on that. You can see we can separate, right? And also we will encounter some problem if, for example, if consumer 1 crash before the sending the acknowledgement, what is going doing, then consumer 2 will pick up the same job and does it again. It will assign to this one. It's kind of like for consumer 1, we can treat it like some of the one of the college, they have their some need to leave one day, right? So he cannot work on that day, and this one is kind of like people like me, I will take her job to keep working on that, make sure not missing the deadline. So this is how it works. So in the message queue we have at least once, which means message maybe deliver more than once, but which means it will have duplicate. but we just the purpose for this is the a final consistency. So at most once as fire and forgot message never arrive. And it's not a good work. And exactly once it's not good for this. You have to do a lot of setup. Every message per set is at exactly one time. Normally is at least once. And for here is quick, but it will missing some date during the sending the message. So when to use a queue, right? Async work, users don't need the results now. Email response upload, and for here is the lot of traffic. Especially lots of the without dropping requires. And for here is to correlate server scale and fear independence. Another thing is reliability. Can't afford to lose work, query hold message. Don't use sync workloads with strict latency requirements. Yeah, so this is very good for the asynchronous things, and this one, and for the reliability is why it can offer stable, because in the message queue normally current now one of message did no one pick up, which means current has no one pick up. It will have a specific place to store the task, and then other people can based on the specific place to review the task again to see what's happened. So that is why it's reliable. Yeah. So some common tips. Yes, there are some very common like components or keywords we can know about. So how would you handle increase through products? We can have like in the different, right, in the message queue, we don't need to have just only one queue. We can have multiple queue, and the different consumer consume different queue. So it's one way to improve the performance. You can see here we have multiple queue, and it will assign to the different people. Yeah, but also we have some problems here, right? So current now, if one people just deposit $100, consume one, and this one withdraws 15, right? If this one go first, it will encounter some problem. So which means the current bank is not work. So sometimes order is very important. So that's why we need to configuration the order, like based on the account ID, we need to put in the same thing, and let the consumer want to consume this order by order, not separate this one to just make sure the order is consumers just consume one thing in order, not mix them. For here we also can, okay, this problem is a lot of producer will create too much job, right? Consumer just one, that is not good. We need to add more consumer and limit the producer. And producer, okay, so yeah, this one is called the dead letter queue. It means we have the message queue in the task, and the consumer want to take this task, maybe this queue missing lot of things, missing the ID, missing the necessary information. Consumer cannot consume correctly, and then it will move to this message into the dead letter queue to reconsume it again, and not to reconsume. Let a developer to check what happened for this task. It's kind of like I would treat it as a kind of like a log storage to make sure we can figure out what happened. And normally consumer, like you can do some configuration, like you can set this, I can retry 3 times. If not still work, then it will move to the dead letter queue. Okay, so this one is can't produce array, send, forget, replic, okay, poor consumer. Okay, so for this one is like in the Kafka. If you, I think there's another topic deep dived into the Kafka art, and in the Kafka, we can see here we have the multiple queue, right? There are lots of tasks, and inside the lots of tasks, it will repeat for the stability. Normally, the Kafka will have multiple the task to make sure if one of the tasks just missing, I have another one to keep doing that. So that is kind of like one way Kafka built for the stability. Yep, there are some thing about Kafka, RabbitMQ, Amazon. This one. Thank you.